All right, cool. Let's dive in, man. So, um, where I'd love to start with you, Chris, is I mean, you've been in this industry. I mean, how long have you been in the industry for now? Like health and fitness industry.
uh, for the best part of 25 years, 23 years.
Cool. Bit of a dinosaur, longer than me.
Bit of a dinosaur.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
um, what I mean, what's the biggest thing that you've seen in terms of just over that period of time? Like, what are the changes, the developments in terms of what it actually? There's so much that's evolved, and there's so much that's continuing to evolve in the industry to actually be able to help people and support people. What what are the biggest changes that you've seen in that? And I know this is a bit of a loaded question too, and in who people have to be now in order to create success in this industry.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, for anyone watching, these grey hairs have all been earned in 23 years of dealing with humans. What's changed and what hasn't? So, from the 10,000 foot view, the fitness industry is still the same. It's about helping people look good and feel good. And that's going to be relative to the individual and their state in life and what they're looking to achieve. Like, 100 kilo bodybuilder at 15% body fat doesn't feel good or look good leading into a comp. So he needs to get himself down to, single digit, low single digits, and then he'll look good and feel good. Now, we can talk about the health elements of that later, but right now, his goal, look good, feel good. That's what they are. Um, Other side is the dude who's 40 kilos overweight. He drops 10 kilos, all of a sudden he looks good and feel good. It's very different for the two individuals, but the end goal is the same. They want to look good and they want to feel good. And that's been the case forever in the fitness industry. What's changed is the noise around that. Throw into that the social media element, the need for acceptance, the narcissistic, elements of showing the world how good we are. Like all of that is still noise and movement, but it still comes down to look good and feel good. So if you can associate that, or if you understand that part of it, the rest you can kind of navigate. But therein lies the challenge. Is a lot of people still don't get that part. They think it's you know bigger arms or rounder glutes or shredded abs or a great time in their fun run on the weekend. So that opens up the opportunity for lots of different people, marketers, products, programs, systems to take advantage of that and create all this noise, which then makes it hard for the average person to figure out what it's all about, what's important, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, sweet. So, I mean, obviously you're in both spaces of actually being in the trenches and coaching people, and also working with coaches in this space as well.
Mm.
Obviously, national PT manager for EMF. What? Because we're talking about this just offline in terms of like the training side of things, and then obviously there's food. There's all these elements that a coach needs to be a leader in order to get someone from the point A to point B. What do you think is the key thing in terms of there's what I'm seeing is, and this is what I was talking to you about offline, is what I see is there's so much knowledge and information in the industry specifically around training and sets and reps and technique, and then when it comes to food, it's like macros and protein, like all this stuff has been known for so long.
Mm.
But then there's like the mindset and the leader that someone has to be. And I see you talk a bit about this on your profiles and everything as well. Like what type of leader separates a good coach from a great coach?
Self-awareness for a start. If you don't know why you're a leader or why you want to be one in the first place, I've got an acronym that I work with on this one, and it's AGAF, AGAF. So it's really important if you're a leader that you AGAF, which stands for actually give a fuck. So AGAF yourself and your own world and your goals and ambitions and where you want to be and how you want to get there, and AGAF your clients and the people around you, AGAF the business model that you're trying to pursue or trying to build out. So it all aligns together.
Yeah. And obviously with you like mentoring a lot of health professionals too, outside of that, like what, like how do you get someone to like cultivate that in themselves of like them actually
Oh,
connecting
dude.
with
Uh,
why they give a
some
fuck?
people get it. Some people get it early. Um, some people, I wouldn't say natural leaders or natural coaches, but some people have more tendency to lean that way than others, for sure. So if someone's starting off on this path and they go, man, the reason I want to do this is because this experience made me want to share this experience with more people. That's a great start. Like, so someone who, loses 30 kilos and realizes the benefits and the health, everything that they got from that, and they want to share that with others, is a good spot. There is no right or wrong answer or right or wrong part to what I'm about to say, but there's also a lot of people that have entered the industry based purely on potential to earn money or to do something they feel is cool and trending and whatever, man. I don't care why you get into the industry, but those kind of people sometimes are just further away from that AGAF than they need to be. So it just takes them longer and sometimes time and life experiences to get them closer to it. My role in what I do is, I mean, I'm seeing PTs that they start as a personal trainer and that could be their first ever job. Yeah, realistically, it could even, and it's more often than not the first time they've ever been self-employed. So while they're trying to navigate everything that comes with that, they sometimes don't make the connection that all of that will arrive faster, clearer, and more effectively if you understood who you are and what you can bring to the table under that umbrella of AGAF. So it's not easy, man. I've got my ways of kind of figuring out where that person is and how much effort I need to put in to get them there, or to how fast I can figure out whether or not they're even able to get there or not under my guidance. I mean, it doesn't mean they won't get there under someone else's, but the way I tend to do things, I'm not for everybody. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, self-awareness in 2026 is a very well-known catchphrase, but it's not a very well understood reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that, and you being in the industry for like 23 years, not just being in the industry, but being someone that other coaches actually come to for guidance, for knowledge, for wisdom. Like, who have you, like personally, like who have you had to become along the way to keep evolving and keep leading other coaches as well? Like, what are the things that you, who's the, essentially, like, who's the man that you've had to become to keep going along the journey?
Good question, dude. I mean, when I started out, I'm 47 this year. I got my PT certs at 22. At 22, I was a dad of a 1-year-old, so I was a reasonably young dad, and got married around the same time. So, that time of my life, I was trying to figure out who I was, as well as raise a child, as well as start my career, as well as, start a business and all the rest of it. So my evolution continues all the way up to today. Who I had to become was who I was to begin with, and just understanding who that person was, right? So we go through age, especially adolescence and early adulthood, thinking that this is who we need to be or how we need to act based on our external influences, people around us, friends, family, partners, colleagues, etc., and what you're consuming online these days, or back then on telly or radio, what have you. Fortunately, in that period of my life, I had no time for TV. There was dial-up internet, so you weren't spending any time on that. There was no social media, so I had a lot of time in my own head. I had a lot of time, driving my car to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to show up today for myself, for my family, for my business. The influences I had were in similar situations where they weren't heavily influenced externally themselves. So one thing I had going for me back then was I was pretty selective in who I would spend time with, who I would take advice from, and that certainly helped put me on the right path. And I think all those things combined sort of helped me step past the noise and not really fall for the quick trends or the fly by night sort of stuff. So then the next part of the evolution was understanding how to unpack that and to deliver it in a way that I can serve others, right? So there's no point knowing what's wrong with everything if I can't do something to help, which is where my career kind of pivoted from managing businesses and stuff like that, and managing actual personal trainers, like going into them and saying, well, I was you and I had none of this, so I'm trying to give you that support and that guidance. I didn't really spend too much time teaching them how to deadlift or squat or bench press. Like, I'm very competent in those fields myself, but that wasn't the problem. And I could always send them to people that could do that if that's what they wanted. But for me, the main thing was getting them to understand who they were, based on kind of fast tracking, I guess, the lessons I learned myself is, audit your circle around you. Listen to people that you aspire to be or have elements of what you aspire to have, whether that's, business ethics, communication style. It could be actual things. Maybe someone's got a nice house and a nice car and you go, man, I want to get that. How'd they get there? I just sort of try to help frame that and make sure they're doing it for themselves, not for external influences or external reasons. And then the next page was really getting to a point where I had to understand that not everyone's meant to get it. You know what I mean? Not everyone's meant to understand this stuff, and instead of trying to fix everybody, just create a process and a system and just lean into it. And those that want it will apply it. And at that stage, I was just sort of figuring this all out. And then I heard on a podcast, one of the guests that were on there is talking about the lighthouse and the tugboat, and the stories about, the tugboats in the harbour.
That analogy.
Yeah, it's bumping ships and it's dragging this one over here and it's doing repairs and it's dragging this one back off the rocks and it's constantly going all day. And at the end of the day, it's completely fatigued and beat up and washed up. And it looks to the lighthouse and says, man, what's your secret? You always look so fresh and clean. And he goes, I'm not trying to fix everyone. I'm just showing you the way. Just, this is the way. And it came at a good time for me because I felt I was the tugboat in a very big way. And I decided, okay, well, it's time to be the lighthouse. And I still find myself in tugboat mode. I think that's part of any coach's DNA. But I'm self-aware enough to recognize that pretty quickly and move back into that lighthouse mode as quick as possible.
Yeah, epic, man. How do you see this sort of like self-awareness and that journey that you've been on, and like developing yourself and doing that inner work by doing the work? I feel like a lot of people do that inner work without actually embodying it and bringing it into their life. But the people that don't do it, especially the trainers and the coaches and the health professionals and the leaders that don't do it, how do you see that impact the industry as a whole, but the clients I suppose there's different facets to this, but like the industry as a whole, what's that creating? What does that create in their business? What does that create in the clients that they're working with as well?
Missed opportunity. It's just missed opportunity, dude. Like, you can go in and count reps and sets for somebody, right? And they'll pay for it for a period of time. And then they'll be like, well, I can do this myself. I don't know why I'm paying this. And either they scale back or they have a socially polite reason for stepping away from the PT. Work's got busy, or the kids need more time, or, I've got bills, whatever. It's all the same. What it comes down to is they're not getting from you what they require. And a lot of the time the PT don't know, they don't see it coming, they don't understand why, because they haven't done this work. So that's why I said it's missed opportunity. If the PT was a bit more aware of these things, they would probably not be telling themselves the same bullshit story as to why they can't retain clients or why this is such a struggle. If they really understood what was missing and they poured into that, they would find they'd connect with great clients that would stick around for longer. And the client wouldn't look at them as a reps and sets counter. They'd see them as a genuine coach now. I really separate the two between personal trainers in this category and coaches are in this category. A personal trainer you can live without. A coach is super important for everything you do in and outside the gym, 360 degrees. So I call it missed opportunity because it's not difficult. I I say it's like anything, right? It's a simple process to understand who you are and what you're about. It's just not easy. It's like losing fat. It's calorie deficit over time. Simple, not easy. Building strength is progressive overload over time, right? It's simple. It's just not easy. Being self-aware is the same. It's very simple. It's just not easy. Yeah, like, and then you've got all the noise out there of what does it take to become self-aware and work on yourself and go inside it. It's journaling. It's breath work. It's walking in the river and screaming at a waterfall. It's it's meditation. It's visualization. It's all these things, and it's all of those things and none of those things at the same time. Like, people were becoming very self-aware and super successful in their own being before any of that shit was normalized, right? And sometimes it's just having quiet time alone inside your thoughts with no distractions and just letting it riff and see where you're at, what comes out the other side. The other things are great tools too. I'm just saying it's a lot of noise around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I think they did a study with psychologists, and they asked them, like, what were the two biggest fears that people have? And number one was death, and number two was people being left alone with their own thoughts in silence. And most people can't be left alone with their own thoughts in silence because it just crushes them.
Well, especially now when they've had the ability to think taken away from them, or they've given it away. It hasn't been taken away. People are giving it up themselves,
Yes. Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. This ties into what just popped into my mind too, is like, with everything that's happening in the world, and just the chaos, war, inflation, most health professionals, from a client's perspective, start getting pushed to the side. It's like, it's nice to have. It's like a nice handbag, but if I can't afford it, I'm not going to be able to pay for it. So how does a health professional or a fitness professional become so valuable that clients don't want to just hand them off when times get tough like they currently are?
Yeah, dude, great question. And we saw this play out during the COVID shutdowns. So back then, and I don't have the exact data, so someone could Google this and figure it out, but back then, in the top list of things that people are willing to continue paying for or looking to axe from their weekly budget, fitness training and PT and gym memberships was down quite low in the top 20, like from memory, 17, 18. And there was things a lot higher up the list they were willing to keep instead of that. Now, fitness and health training and longevity and wellness is in the top 5 to top 10 easily, usually top 5. So it's a bit goes against the narrative that people are cutting expenses on health. They're not. What they're doing is they're being more selective to find out what's the best bang for their buck. So in Southeast Queensland alone, the weekly average being spent on fitness is $53 something a week, $80 a week. So I do get that sometimes where people come and go, oh, because of this and because of that, people aren't spending. No, they are. They're just not spending with you. Okay, so if someone's willing to spend $70 a week and all they get is one modality of training, for example, a reformer studio, and you're able to impact them on body composition, on nutrition, on mindset and habit tracking, on showing up, on building greater self-discipline, on building greater self-belief. If you can do all those things as a coach, you are worth way more than $53.80 a week. So how do we navigate that? You've got to make sure that what you're providing is valued at significantly more than what you're charging, right? So if I'm providing a service that in an optimal economic environment, someone's willing to pay $300 a week for, and I'm doing it for $80 a week, for just as an example, there's no way they're going to cut me. They're going to be looking at cutting other things first. They'll cut away their weekend Uber to get down to the social gathering. They'll cut away, their $7 a day coffee habit, which they're, getting $5, there's $35 towards that. They'll cut off Netflix and stuff and go back to reading books that actually expand their mind rather than dull the edges. Like, there's so much. People are lost, bro. They hear all this stuff on the news, and it is real. Right, the cost of fuel, I'm paying nearly $3 a litre for my diesel at the moment, so the cost is real. But you sit there and go, okay, well, that's only added an extra $80 a week to my spend. There's $80 a week in padding I don't need to be spending on shit now. So while it's at this height, I just cut those luxuries. And those luxuries aren't fitness and wellness, dude. They're like 2 cans of Solo energy drink for $8. You know what I mean? Like it's you start cutting those things that we really don't need that are the real luxuries, and then you get back to it and go, okay, well, I've managed to keep my spend on the shit that matters and keeps me mentally, physically, and cognitively sharp. How do you not invest in that? How do you not spend there? So to take it back to your question is, if you're a coach, that's where you aim for, is how do you show that what you bring to the table is more than some dude in a branded t-shirt counting reps and sets for 45 minutes on a Monday morning.
Who do you think, because with all the shit that's happening in the world, I feel like this is a good topic for you, because I see your post about it and everything. With all the stuff that's happening in the world, who do health professionals have to become? Because as we know, like, yeah, you could do like the reps and the sets and the program and the nutrition plan and everything like that, but a lot of what's causing unhealthy people is all the stress that's happening in the world because of the relationship that people have with the things that are happening in the world.
Yep.
And as a coach and as a role model and as a leader, if you haven't learned how to navigate yourself in this world, then you're not going to be able to help your clients navigate themselves in this world. So what do you think they need to be able to understand about themselves navigating this world to be able to, because it's part of stress management, I suppose. It's part of coaching and not personal training. Like, what do they need to understand about the world, what's happening, and how they can navigate it for themselves, so then they can actually lead other people through everything that's happening as well?
Yeah. In 2026, people want me to say one thing here, and then they'll go and lock that in and their world will change, right? So if I'm going to try and do that, which it's almost impossible, but if I'm going to try and do that, it's just control the controllable. Like, you as a coach need to understand, what do you physically, emotionally, cognitively, what do you control in this time and space right now? And that's where you need to focus all your energy on, and then let that flow out from there to the people in your immediate circle around you, and do it consciously. Like, don't do it and hope they kind of figure it out. Like, point out the shit you're doing that is controllable tactics that they can import and play into their world as well, right? So what are some practical tasks there? Limit your exposure to shit that is just clickbaity, fear-baity, war porn. Like, just limit it. Like, your day is not going to get any better or any worse by cutting that out. You know, if you want to catch up on the news, figure out, if you love your social media as your central point, find a page or two that you feel is the most well-balanced and gives you the most up-to-date information without the sensationalism. Follow those pages and block everything else, right? So just kind of remove the stress that's being pumped into you. If you understand sales and marketing, if people are watching this, they're coaches or in this space, they should at least have a basic grip on sales and marketing tactics. And if you do, you cannot watch any of that shit and take it seriously, because you know exactly what it's designed to do. And that is to elicit an emotional response, because we buy with emotion and we justify with logic later. So if you're reacting a certain way, that's intended, and then the next thing you do is what they're counting on. So remove all that noise, control what you can control. You know, I try and get my guys off social and onto books. So read the books, get a book that's actually going to move your shit forward. If it's about self-development, get some self-development. If it's business development you need, if it's personal development you need, if it's whatever it is, like, try and learn from that book, and that's where you're going to spend your time. I'm a big believer in collective consciousness as well, in that if, 2/3 of the world are consuming this shit on their social media through their app or their device, and that's all they're thinking about, that's the energy we're putting out into the world. So there's no wonder why more of that shit keeps getting pumped back in. So if you were to figuratively and literally unplug from it, the eyeballs wouldn't be there, the data wouldn't be there, they'd post less of it, and you'd go back to a few trusted sources actually providing updates, rather than people trying to sell you something through clicks and likes and views.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about this all the time. Actually, like there's so much that I observe, and there's so much that I view, and there's so much that I'm aware of, and I'm like, is this something that everyone's seeing, or is it something that I'm just seeing? Is it a collective thing, or is it just a me thing, or is it just a small group of people thing? Because yeah, there's so much to be aware of, but then it's like coming back to what you're saying is like control the controllables. What are the things that are outside of you that you can't control, and what are the things that are inside of you that you can control? So with sort of tying this into something else that's happening in the industry as well, is like, how does someone stand out as a leader and as a coach with everything that's happening, and with AI and fucking robots and everything that's happening? Like, a client can just go into AI and get most of their training plan, nutrition plan, the week done. Like, Claude will fucking go into your calendar and organize your whole week and set reminders for you and keep you accountable. Like, who do coaches and health professionals need to become in order to still be, I suppose, required or wanted or desired by people that are going after their goals?
First of all, accept it. First of all, accept that it's happening. You can't stop it. You can't influence it to slow down or reverse course or anything like that. Greed rules the world, so whether we like it or not, there's enough people out there that will try and use AI to make themselves money regardless of impact first. So it's already, the horse is already bolted, right? What I feel, what my prediction is you look at COVID, when COVID, peak COVID season, when everyone was locked down and what have you, social media was filled with people I know that aren't in the industry any longer that were selling the dream of online coaching and how the world's going to go to online. And if you're face-to-face, it's over for you, and this is the only thing, and blah, blah, blah. And everyone was scrambling over each other to become the best Zoom coach or the best online coach or whatever. And the reality is, dude, as soon as the gym doors opened, they got flooded with humans that wanted human interaction. Okay, so we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of years of human evolution that points to one thing over and over and over, is that humans require other human interaction. They require society and community around them, no matter what. Even if you can go times without it, it always comes back. So first of all, accept that AI and automation and all that stuff is there. Accept that you've got, low-level operators who have got a high-level understanding of it, and they're going to be manipulating it and steering the marketing to say, this is where you need to be. So the average person who can't think much for themselves outside the square will fall for that shit, and they will, and it'll flop for them because they haven't fixed what they need to fix for that to even be useful, and they'll come full circle. And when they do, they need you to be there, prepared, understanding, willing to pick up where they left off without having any judgment attached to it, because they've just tried something new that in their mind you weren't able to provide, and move forward. And when you're in this process, you can be understanding of what you bring to the human element, because that's going to be important. No one can be you. AI can't be you. It can replicate you, but it can't be you. And then you look at it and go, okay, well, how do I do this? Okay, well, I need to be more present in person with these people to show my value. So maybe I just use AI to simplify and streamline and automate the shit I don't like to do, the administration, the low-level jobs and tasks that if you had the money, you'd pay someone else to do anyway, right? So take that off the table, learn AI as a skill set, and put it to work on your administration side. But build the community. Every opportunity you have in front of another human, you've got to maximize it so that you leave a lasting impression, that person goes, yeah, the online stuff's good, but fuck Nick's a good dude to train with. He's so motivating, or he just brings something that I can't do myself. And yeah, from a practical or technical element, AI can't spot you. AI is not going to tap you on the elbow and go, you're flaring. It's not going to be there, man. And it's a long way from it. So I do believe, just like COVID did, it might thin the industry out a little bit. You might get some performers or some operators that really aren't up to standard that may fall off as a result, but I don't necessarily think that's bad. That's evolution, right? It's the strong survive kind of a deal. So yeah, accept it's coming. find out a way that you can utilize it to help your business. But I do believe that the human element is the thing that's going to be a long time before that is removed from the equation of what people actually want when it comes to, coaching.
Yeah, it's definitely a like if you just stay in what you're already doing as a health professional, there's certain things that AI can't do, but if you just stay in what's been the traditional way of doing things in the industry, in coaching and everything up until this point, then you're already being replaced essentially. In the sense of like coaching in terms of nutrition plans, you need to either create that human connection, because it's what people desire as humans more than anything, is that human connection, like you're saying, or you need to have like skill sets, like you said, like have a really zoned in skill set of being able to help people with their technique to get them stronger, to get them better results, be able to help them with injuries and getting them pain-free, because AI can't get hands-on with people and get them into better positions and get them out of pain and get them moving better. It can do like an analysis and it can look at your squat and everything like that, but people like online coaching, for example, even when you're coaching someone online, it's slower than in person, because in person you can be hands-on, you can be tactile, you can put people into positions. Right. And that's why, like for me, that's why I love in-person coaching. Every
it's also not for everyone,
going
bro.
Online, essentially.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's just not for everyone. Like the gurus out there selling online coaching and online this, they've got a reason for doing that, is because they're making bucks off everyone that thinks they're going to go that path, right? And whatever. Giddy up, you got a product that's working and selling, more power to you, man. But I look at it and go, if you're worried about this stuff, you've got to start to worry about whether or not you feel that you are good at what you do, and if this is the path for you. And if it's not, there's no shame or problem with going, hey, this worked for me for a period of time, it's no longer good for me, I'm going to find something different. But for those that this is in your DNA, this is what you do, and this is what you're designed to do and born to do, and you feel the most value and your cup gets filled the most from doing it, then you have an obligation to find out ways to stay relevant during this period, and like I said, AI is what's the number one thing you need as a client if you're going to have AI as a coach or as an influencer. What you're going to need your device around you at some point, right? What else is on your device? A million other distractions and notifications and other things. So again, we're trying to like limit our reliance on this glass-fronted little box thing that I'm staring into right now, which is causing more challenges to the human species than millennia before it. So it's like, okay, so anyone that says, AI can do this better, yeah, absolutely, dude. And give me that same person 12 months from now versus someone who integrated AI and in-human stuff, and the person that integrated the AI and the in-person stuff is going to be leaps and bounds in front of everybody on all levels. You've got people who can't string 3 workouts together or track their meals for a week, and you think they're going to go straight to an online AI-generated coaching tool and stick with it? It's noise.
Yeah. Yeah, I have this conversation with a couple of PTs over the last month, and I think coaches and PTs, and this happens with like allied health professionals and everything as well. It's like, I've given my client the game plan, I've given them the exercise program, I've given them the rehab exercises, I've given them the food plan, and they just won't fucking do it. And I have a conversation with them, I tell them they need to be disciplined and they need to be consistent and all these types of things, and they still won't do it. And I'm like, well, you're just telling them to do something. Are you actually coaching the person? And I feel like this is a big missing piece in the industry, is that the experts, essentially the coaches and health professionals in the industry, are just so used to coaching a program and coaching a nutrition plan and a food plan that they actually haven't learned how to coach the person behind all of that.
Yep. Agreed. And that's where
And
where the nervousness comes from, or the fear is because they're about to be held to task, right? It's like, someone
yeah,
talking online about how strong they are, then one day they've actually got to show up to the gym to prove it, right? I guarantee that full 24 hours before they turn up to the gym to prove it, they're going to be shitting bricks because they've told everyone, oh, I got a 4-plate bench press. It's like, well, you don't. It's 2. You're counting 2 each side, but now you've got to show up and prove it. It's the same thing, right? You've got to eventually
yeah,
back yourself and you've got to prove it. And if we circle back to the theme, is the self-awareness and all the rest of it, is understand, man, if you're feeling fearful that AI is going to take your job, ask yourself why. And then find, be real. Why do you think it's going to take your job? Oh, because it writes better programs than I could possibly write. Okay, we'll get better at writing programs. Or if your skill set is getting people to do the work, then who gives a fuck if AI writes the program? Just make sure you're the one ensuring that they're sticking with it. You're relaying to them their results. You're tracking the things they don't have the time to track. You're holding them accountable to it, and utilize it as a tool rather than as something to be scared of.
yeah. What would you, for people that are like in this industry and they have clients, and there's always this form of like, you're asking clients and people that you're leading and teaching and mentoring to do something. And I feel like the piece that's missing is like when you can see it inside yourself in terms of moving through your own shit, then you become a better leader, essentially. What would be like an insight or a piece of advice or some guidance that you'd give someone to initiate themselves through going through something hard? I know you're a fan of like 75 Hard, for example, but what would be an example of like something that you'd get something to go through to initiate themselves to that next level, so they can sort of put themselves in the experience of what a client is going through, so then they can resonate with what they're experiencing, so then they can actually help them through that? Because when you work through your own shit, you just become better helping people through their own shit as well.
Yeah, spot on, dude. Look, I'll start with saying it's okay not knowing what to do, but it's not okay knowing and doing nothing about it, right? So if you don't know your weakness, then fine, man. You don't know about it, and you don't know what to do about it. Once you know, oh, my weakness is talking to people, or my weakness is lead generation, or my weakness is closing sales, and if you still understand that that's your weakness and you do nothing about it, you kind of deserve the results you're getting, right? So again, we come back to self-awareness, is understanding you don't know something versus understanding you know it and you're just not doing anything about it, right? So, and an irony, I think, for want of a better term, is if I said to a PT, Johnny's your client, he's 20 kilos overweight, in 12 weeks' time, Johnny wants to be 10 kilos lighter than he is now, what are you going to do? They go, right, so we've got 12 weeks to work with Johnny. The idea is we want to drop 10 kilos off Johnny in a 12-week period. Okay, we're going to do a pretty heavy cut to start with. We're going to reduce his calories. We're going to increase his workouts. So over time, we'll go progressive overload so that he's peaking at the end of 12 weeks. We'll start off with a bit of a calorie deficit and we'll slide it down so towards the end it's its lowest, and we'll get the best results from Johnny. We might average at half a kilo a week to start with, and then we might really start to ramp it up at the end. And we're going to do that with this many workouts. We're going to slide in this cardio and this strength. That we're going to know all this, right? It's fantastic. Cool. Got it. You understand. Now do the same for your business or your personal development. Okay, so you suck at talking to people, and in 4 weeks you want to suck less, right? So each day you're going to go out and you're going to initiate conversations with 3 to 5 strangers on the gym floor or in your local community or at the Woolies or whatever, until initiating conversation becomes really fucking easy. And it's as easy as it should be because you're a human interacting with another human, right? In a controlled environment like a gym floor, great, easy, because they're there for the same reasons that you are. Like, they're paying to be there, and they want to improve their health and wellness. So I've even got a script, dude. It's like, hey, my name's Chris, what's yours? Nick. Nice to meet you, Nick. How long have you been a member here? Yada, yada, right? You'll tell me how long you've been a member. Nick, what do you love the most about this joint? You'll tell me what you love the most about it. I'll say, oh, awesome, dude. By the way, who's your coach? If it's one of the team, you go, great, you're in great hands with Steve. He's such a good coach, man. I'll let him know I saw you working hard today, and I'll let you get back to your workout. Nice to meet you. And I'll walk on. If they don't have a coach, I don't try and dunk on them and convert them on the spot, but now I know that door's open to continuing that conversation with the intent down the line to find a way to invite them to a consultation or a workout with me or to my class or just a deeper conversation of what their goals are. Okay, so understanding that
I find this part fascinating that in today's world we have to teach human how to human and have conversations.
Look, dude, it's something I've battled with for the last 8 or 9 years, and like I said, it's like not knowing is one thing, but knowing and doing nothing about it is the next, right? So once I realized that people were developing less and less the ability to human, once I made that connection, then it became my obligation to lean into that with my coaching. Like, to the point, dude, some people I teach them how to shake hands and make eye contact on their first meet. So if you can't shake my hand and make eye contact, it's a problem, man, because it's, what are you hiding? Like, why can't you just do something that used to be a very normal, common, daily occurrence? Why has it got to be weird? So, I think you asked me what could they do or what should they do to go through the fire, so to speak, to better connect with their client. Their client's fire is fat loss or mobility or strength, right? If we're having this conversation, that means the PT's fire is communicating with a stranger in a controlled environment where that person's paid to be there to get a result that you fucking sell. Like, that's like saying the hardest thing you ever had to go through was your gym bag. You know what I mean? It's not a challenge, man. It's not traumatic. It's a very, and it's not like, when I was young, one of the things I did on the side while I was trying to establish my career was I was a nightclub bouncer. You want to talk about a challenging place to learn how to communicate and to initiate conversation? Try do it at the Valley at 3:00 in the morning, right? That's a challenging place to learn communication and to go up to someone out of the blue and start a chat, right? So at least in the environment that we're talking about and the coaching that we are talking to, or the coaches we're talking to, you're not going to get jumped for going up and saying, "Hey, man, how's your workout going?" So go through it, man. Find out what it is that you're steering away from. It's obviously causing you some discomfort. Lean right into it, okay? Back when we were selling gym memberships, it was like, "Oh, man, I've got to make these phone calls." But, you know what? No one will answer this time of day. Yesterday, no one answered. No. When you hear that negative back chat, you got to take action on the thing that you're trying to delay. So I don't think anyone will call today. Don't worry, pick up the phone and dial right now. Go walk the gym floor. Don't try and sell shit. Just go and introduce yourself to 3 humans.
Yeah. Where do you think that resistance, the resistance and the fear to do that actually comes from? Like, have the basic conversations, talk to people, whether it's on the gym floor or just a stranger in the street. Like, I feel like it's such a big resistance in today's society and younger coaches coming through. And even for me, like, I know I had a little bit of that resistance, but then growing up and like working in hospitality helped me a lot. And just having to talk to people all night long. But like, where do you think that fear just to talk to people, that resistance based on your view of the world, and like, where does that come from?
Two parts to that. The first part is it's inherent in everybody. It's the fear of rejection. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to know that they bring some value to their bubble, wherever they are right at that particular time. So, if we were saying to our team, go out and get new leads to come join the gym, the fear of rejection was that someone would say, "I don't want to join the gym." Well, no, thanks. I don't want to give you my number, right? So the fear of rejection is real. People don't want to be rejected. Okay, the reframe there is, okay, there's 200 people on the gym floor right now. Go and introduce yourself to 5 and hope get 2 of them to say no thanks. Right? So you're actually going out and saying, go get rejected a couple of times. Stack those rejection numbers up, because not everyone's going to say no. And the more people that say no, the more yeses you're left with in the collective pool. So fear of rejection first and foremost.
Yeah.
The reason it's amplified in 2026, the reason it's significantly more prevalent and why people obsess on it even more is because they're obsessing on a world that's not real, that they're watching through the lens of their Instagram or their social media. Yeah. So they're looking at people that have apparently got their life together, their world's looking amazing, everything's looking good, and they think that theirs isn't good enough, so they don't want to go and expose that. And as a result, they then try to post things on their own social media, and they wear a mask, right? They're putting up a version of themselves that's not in alignment with who they really are, and it's easy to fake that, but your inner conscious, who you really are, spots it a mile away, and they're like, dude, the reason you don't want to walk the gym floor is because eventually they're going to find your Instagram. They're going to look at your Instagram and realize the person they just spoke to on the floor is nothing like the person that's on Instagram, and then you've got a decision to make. Do you want to be this person on Instagram, or are you trying to be who you are, or vice versa? So what it comes down to is, this is where that whole fake it till you make it, I hate that saying. Fake it till you make it results in this. You have this constant inner turmoil and inner argument with yourself of, this is not who I am, man. It's not who I am. It's not who I am. And you can't really lean into it. Except when I played football, we used to say, run the play. Okay, so everyone line up. Yeah, we got our position and run the play. And you run the play, right? So my version of fake it till you make it is run it till you become it. And that is do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. Eventually, you're like, I'm fucking good at this and this is what I'm meant to do. And then you've got this confidence about you, not arrogance or ego, it's confidence that I'm simply walking the floor to go meet some people. That fear of rejection's gone now. Or if it hasn't gone completely, the fear of rejection now moves up a chunk to the next level you need to master, which is, I've done the introduction part, I'm good at that now. Now I want to invite them to do some coaching with me, and I'm worried they'll say no. Well, go fucking ask 50 people. And you'll realize that even if they say no, they're not slapping you in the face as they say it. They just politely decline the invite. So then you get better at the invite. And then all of a sudden you no longer have a fear of rejection on the invite, and you start closing more consults, and then you start closing more sales. And it's a system that keeps improving as you keep improving.
I feel like this is a piece around it's why it's so easy to stand out in this industry as well.
Never been easier.
Even if you give that example of go talk to 50 people around like what they're doing on the gym floor. There's hundreds of people that come through the gym every single day. If you could just go talk to 50 people, you will pick up some clients. In your experience, if you got 50 coaches if you gave them that task, 50 coaches to go do that, go talk to 50 people, how many of those coaches do you actually think would go execute it and do it?
5%.
Yeah. And
most of them would do a couple and then wouldn't get a slam dunk out of it. Then they'd look at their phone to like not be as awkward. Then they'd see a notification. Then they'd go on a doom scroll for 25 minutes. Then they'll realize they didn't do what they do. Then their inner voice goes, see, you fucking suck at this. Then they get in this negative loop. Then they go sit in the lunchroom. Then they go convince themselves that they should go do a workout. And that'll be better because people will come work with me if I'm training on the floor. Then they spend their break time on their phone. So no one's engaging with them anyway. And off the fucking loop goes, my man. So that's my observation anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man. This has been awesome. The last thing I'd love to touch on is like who does, in order to be a person of value, because this is the thing that I'm seeing in the industry is people that are so focused on specializing in so many different areas, whether it be like body transformation, whether it be strength conditioning, whether it be athletic development, whether it be like bloods analysis and gut stuff, or like everyone's like focusing on their own individual area. But there needs to be like this generalist skill set before you can dive into that, which I feel like most people don't have. They're trying to specialize way too soon. And having a generalist skill set allows you to offer so much value in all of these different areas, like we've been talking about the whole time. You can offer value in training, in their food, in their psychology, in their habits, their routines, how they show up in the world. Like if you get better at communicating, then you're actually, I've had this so many times where I'd have conversations with clients about how they can communicate better with their relationships before I was even doing my own relationship work. Like it was just me understanding myself more. But then I helped clients through like freaking divorces and stuff like that, just because I understood communication through understanding like how to run consults and sales and everything like that. I wasn't doing any relationship coaching. I was just like, this is what's worked for me, and this is how you communicate with someone. And then I became someone that was so valuable to my clients that when I go back, like the things that my clients reflect on when they finish with me was, I'd like, what was the best part of like your journey and your experience with me? And so I was like, man, the conversations that we had and the things that you have, like, it was never like you made me stronger or you got me out of back pain. It's like the conversations that we had and the things that you made me aware of were just like life-changing for me. And I wasn't a life coach or anything like that. It was just me becoming so self-aware, like you were talking about, and understanding my own shit and working through it and be like, oh, I'm seeing this in that person. I'm going to help him with that because I can see what's happening because I've worked through it myself. So what are you seeing around that, around how people can actually... It's becoming more of a generalist in a very like specific way before they start specializing too soon, because then they can, because what I see too is there's so much money going out the door. Your client's like, oh, I don't know what to do with food. And you're like, fuck, I don't know what to do with food either. Go see a nutritionist. Or they're like, I got back pain. I don't know what to do with my injury. I'm like, yeah, go see a osteo. Or they're like, oh, like I've got all this stress happening in my life with work and my relationship. And you're like, oh, fuck, that's like I don't want to go anywhere near that because you haven't understood, and you constantly have to refer out rather than realizing you can build a whole ecosystem within your own business to give them the support. And then if it gets too far beyond, obviously always refer out if it's outside your skill set. But I feel like there's a massive missing piece of the puzzle there, and massive piece of support that people actually need in today's society that's not being given to clients from health and fitness pros.
Yeah, dude, look, the magic that people are looking for is in the work they're trying to avoid. And the industry knows it. So everyone's the niche master. The amount of times I've had a PT in their first 3 to 6 months come in and go, I've got a business coach and they're telling me I need to niche down. I'm like, you don't even know how to walk yet. How are you going to go and teach someone how to break a 10-second 100-meter dash? Like you don't understand yet. So this rush to be a niche and to be a specialist when you're 24 years old and you still haven't done shit in your world, or you're a 30-something-year-old that still hasn't done shit with your world. It's like, no. This fascination and this thing to drive yourself to be a niche operator is sold to you from people with really fucking good marketing skills. End of story. That's it. If you are not good at helping people look good and feel good over a broad spectrum of client type, you have no right even considering going into niching yet, because the things you're going to be stuck within that niche are the things you pick up only in a general practice environment, right? So don't rush to niche. Sometimes what you think is the niche is because it's been sold to you as, oh, there's a niche market, or there's an area that people are paying extra money for as a coach. So think about it. If you're watching some guy or girl on social media telling you that this is how you niche into this particular specialty, and if you buy my product, blah, 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 they're not looking for one person to help niche. They want thousands. So now all of a sudden that thing that you feel is a niche specialty is 1,000 other people just like you looking for the magic shortcut at doing the same course, and they're going to be doing a half-assed attempt at the same market. Nah, it's not how it works. So forget the magic shortcuts. There is none. You've got to do the work to get there, and be good at generalized fitness and coaching. Right now, the better you become as a general professional, a general practitioner, so to speak, the better you are at getting people to look good and feel good, whether that's weight loss, sports performance, body composition, injury and mobility, lifestyle and aging, whatever. The better you are at servicing a big group of people, the more knowledge you take on board. With that knowledge you take on board, now how much more valuable are you going out to an extended circle of allied health professionals around you who will take you seriously now because they see you've put in the work over time and you're getting results from a big, broad spectrum. You go up to a person that you go, okay, well, 10% of my clients all struggle with this one area. I don't want to niche into that, but this guy's the fucking best in town at it. I'm going to reach out to him and say, I've got a bunch of clients. They pay me this. We do this. I'd love to bring you into the loop somehow. Can I refer them to you and you bring me their results? So between us, we can produce the best program for them, and I deliver it, and they come check in with you on a monthly or bi-monthly sort of frequency, whatever that case may be. Go establish a relationship with a nutritionist or a dietitian. Go do the same with, someone who's more heavily down the route of sports supplementation, or in these days, longevity and blood work. Like, go and build a team. Now, you've now moved yourself from being a general service provider, general practitioner, with a concierge service that saves people a shit ton of time and by default a lot of money in them trying to figure it out themselves, and you can charge premium for that. So now you're a premium charging general practice coach with an amazing network of people that your clients all get access to and get phenomenal, long-lasting results quickly. Which is better, that or being a booty specialist?
Yeah. I actually had this with when I was teaching. T was in one of our courses, and she was going through. Who's one of the EMF managers? She was going through like a bunch of knee pain at one stage, and she was like trying to prepare for comp. And I was just asking her like what she'd done with her knee pain, and she'd been to see like physios and chiros and specialists and everything like that. I can't remember exactly, but she was paying one specialist, like, I think it was like $300 a session for like every fortnight or something like that for like, I think it was like 6 months or something, and it still had knee pain there. And then she'd gone to see a knee specialist that she'd done like 2 or 3 sessions with, that she was paying $500 a session or something like that. And she was still in pain. And this is when I was teaching a course, and I probably spent like 15, 20 minutes with her, did some assessments. And I'm like no like rehab master, but I have a very good understanding of rehab and how the body works, and just looking at what's going on and understanding your body, and just be like, okay, well, this happened first and this happened first, so this must have led to that. And all I did was I did a tiny little bit of work around her knee, but then it was mainly her ankle that was creating the knee problem. And I did some work around her ankle to get some more like foot activation going. And then within 15 minutes, her knee pain was gone. But that's like, I'm not like, I haven't spent 10 years studying the knee or anything like that. I understand the fundamentals of how the knee works and how it needs to move, and how the foot and the hip plays into that.
Yeah.
But then the thing that clicked into my mind, I'm like, if I can help her with her knee, help her with her understanding of self, help her with her food and all these things, but then I get better results than someone that's charging $500 for half an hour sessions. I get better results in 15 minutes. In my mind, I was like, essentially I could charge more than that person. Like I'm providing more value than that person, and she's paying them $500. Essentially I could charge $600 if I wanted to, because I'm getting better results and I'm providing more value.
Awesome.
So, and when you see that, and when you see that as a coach, when you can stand out in that way, whether it's providing better value in a specific area or a more broad range of value that all intertwines together and interconnects, then you can't really compare yourself to other people. You can't compare yourself to other PTs. You can't compare yourself to physios, osteos, chiros, surgeons, or anything like that, because what you do isn't like what everyone else does.
That's right. Yeah. And you know what? A lot of PTs, that they don't really understand what it takes to invest in this, right? Like, I'll know PTs that will spend, they'll buy 5 mini courses across the year of, social media content or automation or whatever. They'll spend $200 here, there, and whatever. And they say 5 of them, there's $1,000, right? Then they'll go for a weekend away, or they'll go to Bali for a week, and they'll go, oh, but I'm going to film all this content, and that content is going to generate me this engagement, which will steer them to my funnels, which will give me more clients, right? Okay, cool. So they drop another $3,000 on a budget trip to Bali, right? So they're $4,000 in. Then they go and spend a couple $100 on the latest activewear for the next photo shoot. So let's say we're in about $5,000 of spend to do what they feel is going to promote them, increase their lead generation, all the rest of it. When it's just a case of, well, dude, why don't you just lean into being really fucking good at all these things, not chasing these little flashy objects all the time, and just double down on yourself. That $5,000, they could put that into some mentors. They could put it into people that are walking the path that they're trying to walk or have achieved the results they're trying to achieve, and go up to them, even if that's not their business, even if they're not a business mentor or a business coach. Find someone that you resonate with and it's done what you want. Walk up to them and go, hey, listen, I've saved up $5,000. I'd love to be able to invest it into something to move me forward. I like what you're about. Can we talk? Right? Some people might even turn around and go, keep the $5,000, show up on Monday, we'll talk and we'll get this stuff done. Or they might even turn around and go, yeah, sweet, it's $200 a week for the next, 10 weeks or whatever, and we'll reassess after that. But it's money better spent than chasing for shiny objects to niche into something that you have no right niching into just yet.
Yeah. I figured that out after I spent like $30,000 on uni in 3 years. I was like, fuck, a whole lot better way to do it is just find people that are the best in the world at what they do, especially with the access that we have, the internet. You can access anyone pretty much in the world. It's just find the people that are the best in the world at what they do that is relevant to what you want to get good at, and then invest in them. It's the fastest way to get from point A to point B is find people that are at your point B, invest in them, learn from them, and you'll get there a whole lot quicker.
Yeah, dude, that's if you take it full back to when I first kicked off, I didn't go to uni for that same reason. There was nothing that really appealed to me at uni at the time. The courses I wanted to do, the influence I had was US based, and the courses I wanted to do were available there, but not here in Australia. And I was just fortunate to have a mentor at the time that he'd just finished 5 years at uni and gone, mate, it's a waste of my 5 years because of this, and that. Go meet these people, talk to these guys, and apply what they're telling you to do. And I did that, and this was in a day and time of dial-up internet. So right now, you guys can. There's a ton of good accounts on YouTube, on Instagram, more so now, like increasingly bit by bit on TikTok, where just go and listen and then apply, right? Don't become an education junkie or a success junkie. Like, go and listen to what they've got to say. Find people that you resonate with or that are doing what you want to do. And if they're saying, hey, try this, go fucking do it that same day and then get better at it. Don't worry about nailing it or perfecting it. Just go, like we said, go shake 3 hands a day. And the more hands you shake, the better you'll get at it. The more you'll critique your effort and you'll be able to refine it and get better at it. And it snowballs from there. Yeah.
Awesome, man. This has been this has been so good. I feel like I could talk about the industry all day with you, and the things that are happening and everything like that. So appreciate your time, man. Where can these guys I'll put it in the description and everything as well, but where can these guys find you? I know you've obviously developing some pretty exciting things at the moment as well. Anything you want the listeners to know about?
Oh, if you want, I'll start with connecting. If you want to connect, LinkedIn's good. I'll give you the link so you can post it in the notes, but just LinkedIn's good. Instagram, I'm on there. I don't really post on there. I like more the stories if you just want to tag along and see what I'm about. Website's 1percentclub.com.au. So that's the number one, the word percent, club.com.au. That's my coaching business. But yeah, reach out. LinkedIn's probably the spot if you want to sort of see what I'm about from a leadership and mindset perspective, or just hit me up in any of those forums and I'll get back to you. And what we're working on is, like the 1% Club is our coaching product. That's our physical, metabolic, and cognitive optimization platform. Big mouthful of just basically saying make you a better fucking human. It's pretty simple. And we do that through coaching in those 3 main columns, And outside of that, man, the rest of it is just my tip to everyone is just AGAF life, AGAF business, AGAF family, AGAF everything that's important to you. And you'll find that by doing that alone, you'll find the answer to a lot of what we're talking about. Because if you suddenly genuinely give a fuck, you won't tolerate your own bullshit, let alone the people around you.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thanks for your inspiration. Thanks for your wisdom. Appreciate it a lot. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Cheers.
Appreciate it.